Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle Close Combat Collection Bundle of October 2025. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? By using the links in the description below, you'll gain access to this bundle and support the channel in the process. Before we begin, I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for watching my silly videos. I hope they're helpful. Most importantly, knowing that you're watching it means the world. Anyway, let's get into this. At number 1 we have BloodRayne Terminal Cut, the enhanced definitive edition of the cult classic action horror game that first unleashed Rain, the half-vampire femme fatale, on the world. As Agent BloodRayne of the Brimstone Society, you carve a bloody path through supernatural creatures and Nazi soldiers across 2 missions spanning 5 years, with the ultimate goal of stopping a madman who seeks to use occult relics for world domination. This Terminal Cut version modernizes the game with support for up to 4K resolutions, improved rendering, uncompressed textures, modern controller support, and upscaled cinematics. While it still feels like a product of its early 2000s origins, complete with clunky controls, stiff animations, and repetitive design, it delivers a certain retro charm that fans of hack-and-slash action games will appreciate. The gore, over-the-top violence, and campy story embrace the chaotic energy of its era, making you feel like you've stepped into a vampire-infused Devil May Cry with a World War II twist. The combat is straightforward, but satisfying, with Rain tearing through hordes of enemies using blades, guns, and her vampiric feeding ability to stay alive. Boss fights, while sometimes repetitive, add to the momentum, and the soundtrack keeps the pace energetic. That said, you'll also encounter issues like dated level design, confusing objectives, and the occasional technical hiccup, such as cutscenes capped at 30 FPS. If you're in it for polish, you may find it rough around the edges. But if you're craving nostalgia, bloody action, and unapologetically campy vampire mayhem, BloodRayne Terminal Cut still delivers exactly that. At number 2 we have The Last Soldier of the Ming Dynasty, a Souls-like action game inspired heavily by Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. You step into the role of a Qi soldier in the Ming Dynasty, tasked with defeating 5 pirate warlords after surviving a brutal shipwreck. Unlike Dark Souls' cryptic lore, this game offers a more straightforward plot, but it still sets up a strong foundation for the intense battles ahead. Combat is built around sweep, stab, and cleave attacks, with a unique stamina system that forces you to focus on parries and counters rather than just spamming strikes. While this mechanic works most of the time, enemy attack tracking can feel unfair, making dodging nearly useless and forcing you to rely on well-timed parries. Thankfully, the timing window is generous enough to keep things manageable. You'll also wield swords, spears, bows, and muskets, though the special moves feel inconsistent and don't offer much in terms of varied builds. Enemy variety is a mixed bag. Bosses are challenging and rewarding, but regular foes feel like padding. Still, experimenting with different weapons keeps encounters engaging. The game shines in its art direction, using traditional Chinese ink and wash painting as inspiration, giving it a distinct visual identity. Unfortunately, character proportions look awkward, and some translation issues hurt immersion. Despite flaws in design, balance, and polish, The Last Soldier of the Ming Dynasty shows ambition. If you enjoy punishing but rewarding action and want a fresh cultural spin on the Souls-like genre, this is worth checking out. At number 3 we have Ghostlore, an action RPG blending Diablo-inspired gameplay with Eastern folklore and a retro 90s pixel art style. You step into the shoes of a ghost hunter, tasked with keeping the world safe from spirits and monsters drawn from Chinese, Indonesian, and other regional myths. The aesthetic instantly transports you back to classic ARPGs, with lovingly crafted characters, enemies, and spell effects that feel both nostalgic and fresh. Gameplay splits neatly between combat and character development. Combat is familiar yet satisfying. You rely on basic attacks, dodges, and an array of class skills to tear through swarms of enemies. The fun deepens as you unlock new classes, create combos, and experiment with different abilities. Ghostlore's maps are procedurally generated, keeping every run unpredictable and replayable. Customization is where Ghostlore really shines. You can slot glyphs like tattoos onto your body, each granting unique bonuses that can be further boosted by clever placement. Gear is also enhanced by awakening spirits within items, giving you a rewarding loop of progression and experimentation. The system feels genuinely deep and invites you to craft your perfect build. Not everything is flawless though. Exploration suffers without a proper world map. The minimap only shows limited surroundings, which can make hunting objectives frustrating. Still, the engaging mechanics, replay value, and the refreshing East Punk theme easily outweigh this drawback. If you crave an ARPG that offers depth, variety, and a unique cultural twist, Ghostlore is absolutely worth your time. And number 4 we have Dwarven Realms, a 3D action RPG that throws you into chaotic battles against massive hordes of enemies. Combining the depth of classic ARPGs with the relentless mob density of roguelike survivor games, it is a grind-heavy experience, packed with explosive abilities and endless customization options. You'll craft your perfect build by mastering hundreds of skills and abilities, while diving into high-intensity combat. The game's hallmark is its overwhelming enemy numbers, requiring sharp positioning and strategic use of powerful skills. Loot enthusiasts will appreciate the epic gear system and crafting mechanics, which allow you to refine your arsenal to suit your playstyle. The gameplay loop revolves around grinding zones, unlocking new challenges, and progressing through an enormous perk tree. Seasonal content and leaderboards add layers of competition and replayability, especially for those looking to prove themselves in the community. While the core combat offers flashy mayhem, some players have found the gameplay overly repetitive. Holding a button for long stretches and wading through piles of low-value loot can diminish the excitement. Moreover, the lack of a meaningful story and clear direction leaves the experience feeling hollow for others. Technical issues like disappearing characters and clunky systems also detract from its potential. For newcomers though, Dwarven Realms offers a decent introduction to ARPGs, but veterans might miss the polish and depth of competitors like Path of Exile. If relentless grinding and leaderboard climbing excite you, this is worth a shot. Otherwise, it may leave you craving more substance. And number 5 we have Blossom Tales 2, The Minotaur Prince. Blossom Tales 2, The Minotaur Prince offers a nostalgic journey reminiscent of classic Zelda games, particularly A Link to the Past. Developed by Castle Pixels and published by Platonic Friends, this adventure sticks closely to its roots, delivering a familiar yet enjoyable experience. You step into the shoes of Lily, who inadvertently releases the Minotaur King, leading to her quest to rescue her kidnapped brother and thwart impending darkness. The game's world is diverse, spanning pirate-infested swamps, haunted mansions, and monster-infested deserts, each area presenting unique challenges and enemies. Navigation feels intuitive, guiding you seamlessly from one area to the next without getting lost, thanks to well-crafted level design and dungeon layouts. While exploration is rewarding in uncovering secrets and items, such as heart pieces and various gadgets, akin to Zelda's arsenal, the rewards can feel underwhelming at times, often limited to currency or occasional health upgrades. Combat, though simple, offers a variety of tools and power-ups like bows, boomerangs, and unique items, such as a yo-yo hookshot and a spell-binding guitar, enhancing gameplay variety. The game excels in dungeon design, with puzzles and challenges that flow naturally, progressively testing your skills without becoming overly frustrating. Each dungeon introduces new mechanics from minecart tracks to changing water levels, adding depth to the gameplay experience. Blossom Tales 2 embraces its inspiration from Zelda while refining classic gameplay elements for modern audiences. Despite some minor drawbacks like repetitive combat and simplistic storytelling choices, it successfully captures the essence of retro adventure games. For fans of classic action-adventure and those new to the genre, Blossom Tales 2 The Minotaur Prince offers a charming and accessible journey worth embarking on. And number 6 we have Into the Necrovale, an action RPG that mixes roguelike design with deep build experimentation. You play as the Stranger, a condemned criminal cast into the Necrovale, a realm where generations of miscreants have been banished. Your task is simple: survive, gather relics, and decide whether to preserve or destroy the world. The hook of Into the Necrovale lies in its loot system. You collect weapons, armor, staffs, jewelry, and strange relics, all of which can be merged, upgraded, or combined with runes for surprising synergies. This leads to an incredible sense of discovery. You will constantly ask yourself, what if? And often find a viable build around the most unexpected interactions. Whether you're punting enemies into walls for massive damage or stacking defensive relics to tank impossible fights, the creativity here is immense. Combat is fast and fluid, rewarding both quick reflexes and thoughtful preparation. However, the game is not without flaws. Progression can feel grindy, as late-game content requires repeating earlier challenges with tougher enemies. Some mechanics like the despair system don't hit as hard as they should, and endgame scaling can make fights feel unbalanced unless you dedicate slots to very specific defensive gear. That said, the pixel art is charming, the music atmospheric, and the variety of builds ensures replayability. Into the Necrovale is a rough but ambitious roguelike ARPG that rewards experimentation and patience. If you enjoy theory crafting and loot-driven progression, you'll find plenty to sink your teeth into here. At number 7 we have Chronicon, a highly addictive fast-paced action RPG that will help you looting and murdering hundreds of enemies on screen at a time. Chronicon is a mysterious device that lets you relive moments of heroes. These memories explain the different acts that you can play through in the game. Different acts will bring about different games, environments, and enemies. You can choose from 4 classes: a melee tank class, a berserker brawler with high DPS, a warden who is essentially a ranged archer class, and the warlock, which is a high damage magic user. However, you aren't tied down to just the class that you're playing, as you can build each character the way you like, by investing in specific skill trees. You can gain skill points by murdering hordes of enemies and leveling up, allowing you to spend them on different skills for your chosen class, which will change the way your character functions and fights. The max level is 100, but the mastery tree can have unlimited upgrades. Gearing is really fun, as this game also features a lot of looting. There are 6 different rarities for items, and you'll encounter a lot of items to loot as you play this game, especially at the endgame, where you can enter Tinker's Domain, which features a sort of randomized map mode, with different modifiers and new difficulties on top of the difficulty you're already on. This makes each of your run unique, and each run will net you unique loot as well. This is where the addictive loop comes in, as you play Tinker's Domain over and over again, collecting different loot to power your character. In addition to collecting loot, you can also infuse your gear with gems or enchant them, or even morph them together to form higher tier items. There's definitely a lot that you can do in this game in regards to loot. You can also go at it in multiplayer, so you and your friends can murder and loot together as different characters. If you like a highly addictive, fast-paced looter action game, then Chronicon is a great game to get into. At number 8 we have Dungeons of Sundaria, a co-op or solo dungeon crawler that blends classic RPG systems with handcrafted dungeon design. You start by creating a character, choosing a race and class, cleric, champion, mage, ranger, or rogue, and then dive into a small hub town filled with NPCs like blacksmiths, trainers, and innkeepers. From there, it's straight into the dungeons, and that's where the game truly shines. Each dungeon is massive, carefully built rather than procedurally generated, and loaded with secrets. You'll fight through waves of bandits, zombies, and vampires before facing unique boss encounters that feel both creative and memorable. From chasing down a headless assassin through a maze to a colossal dragon that stalks you before a climactic battle, every dungeon is packed with variety. With 8 dungeons in total, each filled with optional paths, hidden bosses, and breakable walls, you'll always feel rewarded for exploring. The loot loop is incredibly addicting. You gather gear, return to town, craft, salvage, and prepare for the next challenge. With 3 difficulty levels, normal, hard, and nightmare, plus an endgame progression system similar to Diablo 3's Paragon leveling, there's plenty of replayability. Every class plays differently, so trying new builds keeps the experience fresh. That said, you'll run into some jank. Desync issues in solo play, misaligned boss attack indicators, and occasional bugs can break immersion. Still, nothing ruins the fun for long. If you want a unique, passion-driven dungeon crawler with depth, challenge, and creativity, Dungeons of Sundaria is absolutely worth playing. And that's all for this bundle. This bundle stirred up some mixed feelings. Some of you expected a close combat collection and got blindsided, while others were just happy to see niche indies like Blossom Tales 2 pop up. BloodRayne brought back early 2000s memories, but at least it still scratches the Nazi-slaying itch. Honestly, it's not a must-buy bundle, but if you're into retro oddities or want some under-the-radar gems, it's worth a shot. In any case, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe consider buying the channel a coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.